Hello and welcome to this week's news bulletin from the Christian Institute. Small Christian groups which publish news alongside their main work have been saved from having to comply with new press regulations. The new regulatory regime has been introduced as a result of the Leverson inquiry into the phone hacking scandal. But now, thanks to a last-minute amendment, small groups with an annual turnover not exceeding £2 million and fewer than 10 employees will not be affected. The Christian Institute's Mike Judge welcomed the news, saying, "Opponents of Christianity may have used the system to intimidate and silence small Christian groups that publish news alongside their main work. We made representations to those involved in the plans, and we are pleased that many of our concerns have been addressed." However, the new regulations mean that larger Christian organisations that exist mainly to publish news have a choice. They can either join the new regulatory body and be bound by its adjudications and penalties, or they can choose not to do so but risk being exposed to large financial penalties if someone brings a successful legal action. 2 Roman Catholic midwives have won their appeal to avoid taking any part in abortion procedures. The ruling means that those with a conscientious objection do not have to delegate, supervise or support staff involved in abortions. Mary Dugan and Concepta Wood said they were delighted at the result, which overturned a previous ruling in favour of their employer, the NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde Health Board. At the time, the judge said that their human rights had not been violated as they were not directly involved in terminations. But appeal judge Lady Dorian has now ruled the right of conscientious objection extends not only to the actual medical or surgical termination, but to the whole process of treatment given for that purpose. In a joint statement, Miss Dugan and Mrs Wood said, "In holding all life to be sacred from conception to natural death, as midwives we have always worked in the knowledge we have 2 lives to care for throughout labour, a mother and that of her unborn child." They added that the judgment is a welcome affirmation of the rights of all midwives to withdraw from a practice that would violate their conscience. A gunman who tried to massacre staff at a pro-family group in Washington, D.C. could face up to 45 years in prison. Floyd Corkins II walked into the headquarters of the Family Research Council, which lobbies against same-sex marriage, last August and opened fire. He fired 3 shots before being overpowered by a security guard who had been injured by one of the bullets. Corkins pleaded guilty to a range of charges, including armed terrorism, and will be sentenced at the end of the month. Government lawyers said if it was not for the security guard's actions, Corkins would have almost certainly succeeded in committing a massacre of epic proportions. The French National Assembly has voted this week to legalise gay marriage, despite massive public unrest about the issue. The move comes as a poll has revealed that President Hollande is France's most unpopular leader for over 50 years. Nearly 75% of those questioned said they are unhappy with his presidency. Protests over Mr Hollande's plans for gay marriage were held across the country, with hundreds of thousands of men and women showing their opposition to the legislation. Meanwhile, following a separate poll, it's thought that thousands of mayors throughout France could refuse to conduct the same-sex ceremonies after a majority said that they disagreed with the new law. David Cameron has said that he wants to clean up public Wi-Fi spaces by banning access to pornography. The Prime Minister is set to introduce proposals in response to parents' concerns that currently children can access explicit content on laptops or mobile phones in cafes, libraries and other public areas. Mr Cameron said, "We are promoting good, clean Wi-Fi in local cafes and elsewhere to make sure that people have confidence in public Wi-Fi systems so that they are not going to see things they shouldn't." The Children's Charity Coalition on Internet Safety, which includes the NSPCC and the Children's Society, welcomed the move. The coalition says they've already written to BT demanding action over surfing on the web. Tackling low-level drug use is not seen as a priority in a new policing plan, despite residents' concerns on the issue. The plan from Vera Baird, Northumbria's Police and Crime Commissioner, says officers will instead focus on people involved in supplying drugs. But leader of Newcastle City Council Nick Forbes says, "I am really concerned about the impact of drugs on our communities, and I know there are significant concerns from residents." The Daily Mail has also criticised Vera Baird, saying, "Isn't the main reason why drug abuse wrecks so many lives that the police won't even attempt to tackle it?" But the decision was defended by Mark Dennett, Mrs Baird's deputy, who suggested that putting the issue of lower-level drugs into the plan could lead to fewer police on the beat. And finally, a baby has amazed doctors after being born with only half a heart. Scarlett Crowther's parents, Rebecca and Daniel, were advised to have a termination because her chances of surviving more than a few days were 50-50. But after 2 major heart operations, including one at just 5 days old, she is now a healthy 9-month-old with a bright future ahead of her. Doctors discovered Scarlett had a heart defect during her mother's 20-week scan. Miss Turner said, "It was devastating, but termination wasn't an option for us. We wanted to give Scarlett the best chance we could. The doctors said it was unlikely she'd survive very long, but I got great support from Daniel, so we both decided to carry on. Thankfully, Scarlett is much better now, and we can't believe how healthy and happy she is." Well, that's all for this week. For more information and regular updates on all of our stories, plus much more, visit our website at christian.org.uk. Until next time, goodbye.